What was the most frustrating part about the way that this season went? Because it started off so well, and then it just didn't go the way that I think everybody wanted it to.
I mean, honestly, for me, I'm a person of unwavering faith. So the very last minute of the very last game, I realized that it wasn't enough. And, once it hit 0-0, it's like, well, everything all the hard work we put in didn't equal a Grey Cup. And, that's what we work for. So supremely sad. And after that, I was preparing to talk to my teammates and tell them how much I appreciate their sacrifice for being here and, leaving their families behind and not seeing their families to sacrifice to win a Grey Cup. So that's what that was about.
Was it a challenge to keep this room together? Because we talked to Vernon about the fact of how his situation was handled. Nothing against Nathan, because the team wanted to bring Nathan back when things didn't go right in the NFL. He said, yeah, there was different treatment. Was it tough to keep this room together?
Yeah, I mean, he said there were different treatment, and that's the thing about playing a position and maybe getting benched or you feel the treatment that you're getting, at the time because you're not playing, or you're getting replaced for whatever reasons. But yeah, so I would say that's probably what added a little, imbalance in the room. But ultimately, I would say, no, there was really, from my experience, I don't think there was anything that really broke us apart. I think we were just trying to roll through the punches, of the season, the ebbs and flows of the season to put out a good product out there.
Was there still the same amount of trust from the players and the coaching staff after that quarterback decision?
Yeah. You have to trust. You can't, and I always preach, if you put in so much work in your professionalism and your craft and your team, why have any doubt, despite what anyone may say, So why doubt that if you're putting in the work, why doubt yourself?
You've been here a long time. Every year that's not a Grey Cup win is a disappointment in some way, shape, or form. But how does this rank given the context of everything around it?
I mean, I don't know. It's a little too soon for me. All I do know is we didn't win. Only one team wins. And, when you end the year with your teammates, you want it to be a great party and not a sad party. And, this year, because we didn't win, it's a sad party. But in order to rebuild, you don't take what you didn't do until your off-season training. You take all your accomplishments and achievements, and that's how you rebuild. You rebuild from there. You don't rebuild from the despair and the sad. You rebuild from your achievements and your accomplishments to be something greater.
How close were you? You came back and played after an Achilles, which is not easy given the time frame. But looking back, how close were you to 100%?
How close is that to 100%? I didn't have the power I needed that I normally play with in terms of like in my legs. So I would say about a good 85%. But granted, I mean, I endured so much. Like when you talk about my comeback, which is very important, came back from 6 games from a torn Achilles, played through broken ribs, played linebacker, moved to linebacker position, led the team in tackles, was very productive, tied for team in interceptions, scored touchdowns, was the first to score a touchdown in the Guardian Cap. There's a lot of achievements I had as an individual and as a professional athlete. So that's going to be my rebuild to return for potentially my last season as a Lion or as a professional athlete. So that's what I'm using to come back, and that's my fire. I get to have a full off season where I'm able to be stronger, to get off blocks like I'm normally getting off blocks, you know what I mean? To put in the foundation in these December, January, February months so that I'm back to my dominant self on all facets. So that's what I'm most excited about, and that's what keeps me going.
You see next year as your last year?
I know I'm going to be coming back. I'm not sure if I see last year as my next year, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to go back to there. The exciting part of it all is I haven't had my breakout year yet, so that's all I'm chasing for. It's funny, but it's not. So
Does not getting an all-star piss you off? Even though you were hurt and missed 6 games.
Yeah, I played 12 games. 66 tackles in 12 games, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. You know what I mean? I think that's good for an all-star at the same position. At Sam linebacker position, I never played. Sure, maybe, but it's not about all-stars. It's about how I made my teammates around me feel. It's about me being an asset to the organization contractually. It's about all those things. It's about me giving faith and hope to the kids out there that gets injured and thinks that it's over, or professionals, athletes that get injured early in their career and basically call it quits because the narratives around them start swirling. It's about that. So I know I represent something way, way greater.
TJ, how different do you think this team will be next year, and how different do you think it'll have to be?
Change is great. You asked me that question, and it makes me think about my future here. I may have played my last down as a Lion, but I haven't played my last down on the positive side. So I don't know. I know change is going to happen. I may be a part of it. I may not. But regardless, I have to protect my brand at this moment because the season is over, and I put in life's work into the product that I put on the field. So that's how I'm gonna answer that question.
How much confidence do you have that you'll be back?
I'm not confident at all. I don't know. It might be that I might get the old pasture talk. Don't let me explain any further. But regardless, I'm a model of production, and I have that to stand on. So, yeah, there's something I had to say about that too, but I forgot. Got hyped up, but you don't want to hear everything I got to say. Yeah, you don't want to see everything. But yeah, ageism does exist in this sport for sure. But production is more important than that. So, you go and look at my career, injured or not injured, model of production, led the team, maxed out all my contracts, have that to smile about.
If you are back next year, what has to change on defense for this team to get more stops and more turnovers?
I don't know. To be a Grey Cup team, you have to be a Grey Cup team from the top down. So, if I'm coming back and you're using me as a leader, I'm part of the guys at the top. And for me, it's to come out and make more plays than I did this year. I can't really look outside of myself and start judging everybody else. So being a leader is being responsible for the change you want to bring around you. So with me, if I come back here, I plan on having my breakout year, where I get 8 interceptions, where 3 fall in my lap, and I get 5, and I have 8, and I'm leading the league, and then all the ageism talk's coming and everything's coming, but all of a sudden everybody's loving me and believing in me more. And so, I just think, long story short, you don't want me to say it. Never mind. Sorry, my brain's rolling. I can get on fire. But we're all suffering from the consequences of what we believe and what we say about ourselves, long story short.
Last thing you said, it was you were emotional when you came into this room because you had conversations. Can you share what the emotion was?
Yeah, my most recent exit meeting was with Coach Tanya. Just seeing how she's been an inspiration in my life, and how she's changed the locker room and changed our brains and how we think, and her influence. How she influences me, how she influenced my wife, how she influenced my daughters. We just had a passionate talk. And I don't know what she has to face, as a woman in sports and being one of the first. But I'm sure it's a lot of pressure, but how she handles it is great. And yeah, I just had to tell her how great she was, and how big of an influence she was. And she's on my fridge, I had to let her know that. So you just don't know who's looking up to you, and I look up to her for a lot of things. And just seeing how she's carrying herself has been great. So I was just fresh off that meeting, so a little teary-eyed. Because we never know, who's going to be around next year, and if the words you say to someone are your last words to them.
Nothing but respect for you, sir.
Appreciate it. Love.
Yep.